Good morning, folks. Papa Joe here. I was hoping to be sleeping late, but here I am up. Since I'm up, I did them videos about putting into it and all that. I think I might have misled a couple of you. I ain't sure. But it is the church's business to be in our business to a degree. And once again, once you have man in it, stuff gets twisted all around. I honestly looked for some passages that I know of. I couldn't find them. That aggravates the dickens out of me. But Paul was writing to one of the churches, and I'll put that window up. But Paul was writing to one of the churches, and he told them that if you got somebody in your church that ain't doing right, then you need to go and talk to them. Just one-on-one type deal. Explain to them what they're doing wrong and offer your assistance to help them to cease and desist doing this wrong thing. He said if they don't listen, then you should go to them by twos or threes and talk to them. If that don't work, you need to go to them as a church. And actually, he says after that point, you kick them out of the church. So yeah, folks can be rightfully kicked out of a church. The thing is, though, is he said you go to them by yourself that first time, and you try to correct them. Well, that was part of my issues with the way this other guy was addressing me. He didn't come to me personally, just by himself, to address issues he thought I was having. He had to go online, public, in a message, in a comment, and try to correct me. If he was so worried about me being biblically correct, then he should have been being biblically correct himself and sent me a private message and, yo, dude, this is what's up. This is what I think. But he chose to go the other route, which was being public, which is once again beating on your chest. And Paul said that ain't how you do it. You go to them privately, mellowly. I'm ad-libbing here. This is what I get out of the message. So, one of them type deals. Now, since I did that post, a couple of different people have commented about that's why I don't go to churches, because of a bunch of busybodies. And someone else saying, I don't want the church all up in my business and stuff. Well, first off, I know it sounds like I'm really down on churches, and I'm really not. We're told we should seek counsel with like-minded people, and that's pretty much a church. That being said, a church is not that brick and mortar building that you go to, it's the people inside. And you're not going to find the perfect church. It just ain't going to happen. If you're having issues, dadgummit, where did it go? There it is. Some ivy dry. It helps us itch in the hand. If you're having issues with your church, by all means, you should be going to your elders. If you're having someone that is being all up in your business and stuff, they're really not supposed to be. And you should have that private chat with your elders, and however your church runs. You know, maybe you're required to go to your deacon first and request to see your elder. Know your own church. The church I spent the most time in, we knew all the elders and the deacons, who they were, and you know, man, can I talk to you a minute? You know, that kind of thing. But you can tell them, oh, so-and-so is being a busybody and all up in my stuff. Can you get them to back off? That's actually the proper way to do it. You don't start countering their negative with your negative, with their negative, with your negative. It's a never-ending story, and it ain't good for nobody. To be a leader of a church, that can be a deacon or elder or preacher or whatever, Paul has given us stipulations and guidelines. I don't necessarily agree with a couple of them, but he didn't ask me when he wrote this stuff. But he has given us guidelines for the churches to go by. And in order to fill any of the slots, leadership slots, and they do need to be filled, the church does need to be up in your business and know what you're doing. Because on every one of them, the first thing it pretty much says is that you need to be an upstanding person. And that's in the public and in the church. So, you know, it says they need to have a good name. You know? So if you're Betty Backstabber and you're known all around town for that, you probably wouldn't make a good leader, church leader. As Paul's thinking is that you're making a mockery of the church. If the whole town knows this person to be a bad person, and they're ripping people off and making up stories and gossiping, and you make them a leader of your church, you're doing more harm to the church than anything. So there are guidelines in the Bible that churches run by. In this day and age, we don't all necessarily agree with them. Probably back in that day and age, they didn't all necessarily agree with them, but they're still there. And the church that I went to so much, they did their best to follow those guidelines. It's their interpretation of a couple of them guidelines that I had issues with, but that was not the reason I quit going to that church. I quit going to that church because I moved about 800 miles away. I enjoyed the church. Did I have issues with them? Yes, I did. Did they teach me everything I wanted to know? No, they did not. But they was a large instrument in bringing me to God, to Jesus, bringing me along my walk. They taught me a lot. Up to and including, they taught me to seek out my information that I wanted, the knowledge that I wanted. Our Sunday school teacher, my mentor, you've seen me talk about him, he called our adult Bible school class the Seekers, because we was to seek out God. We was to seek out knowledge. We was to seek out the truth. And a lot of us did it in our own ways. So don't think that I'm just telling you don't go to churches and all that. I'm not telling you that at all. You need church. You need backup. You need people around you of a like mind to help you battle Satan out here, to help you stay on your walk with Jesus. All I'm telling you is do not be one of them only Sunday morning Christians. Don't be the one that goes to church Sunday and you put God in the closet the rest of the week. You need to reach out and try to fill your knowledge yourself. The church can only do a certain role, and now it's up to you. And whenever you as an individual is counting only on that sermon Sunday morning and talking to a few people Sunday morning, if that's your idea of your walk with Jesus and all that, you might want to reevaluate your relationship with Jesus, because there's a lot out there you need to know, and you should be seeking out that knowledge. And you cannot take man's word for it. That's not disrespecting anybody or any preacher. You cannot take man's word for it. I've told you numerous times, when you get up there and have to answer, they're not going to ask you, what did your preacher teach you? They're going to ask you what you did. How did you seek out the knowledge? So, yes, the church is supposed to be up in your business. Excuse me, up to a degree. They're not supposed to be busybodies. They're not supposed to be gossipers or none of this. But they are supposed to know of you in your public standing, of what kind of person you are. And if they have issues with that, they are supposed to privately come speak with you. They're not supposed to put it in the morning bulletin that Papa Joe has been using bad words and smoking. No, they should come to me proudly. Yo, Papa Joe, your language is getting a little questionable there, buddy. And this smoking thing while you're here at church, that's not real good. We know you smoke, blah, blah, blah. It should be a private thing. Nobody likes to get yelled at in the public anyhow, do we? So, I hope this made some kind of sense to y'all. And I wish I could have found that verse, dadgummit, but I didn't find it. And now I have to decide if I'm going to stay up or if I'm going back to bed. Maybe the good Lord just wanted me to make this video, because now I'm starting to get sleepy again. So I just might go back here and try to grab me another hour or so. Y'all remember, God loves you and so do I. Y'all have a blessed day now. Bye.